insufficient oxygenation to the brain, and then there is injury to the brain tissue, eventually such a baby is prone to develop what we call cerebral palsy. There are also cases of cerebral palsy that are associated with bleeding within the brain tissue. In the long run, what occurs is that the brain is severely damaged by these injuries, and the brain can easily be defined as dead in a layman's language. So part of the brain is hit such that it is not able to function. It is not able to help the person, and the brain is as good as dead. There are cases that have been reported of people with cerebral palsy who has had more than 50% of their brain hit by cerebral palsy, by these injuries, causing them very severe kinds of malformation. Cerebral palsy is a bad disease, especially in the medical fields, because there is no cure for cerebral palsy. How do I know that my child or my baby has cerebral palsy? Cerebral palsy presents with motor dysfunction. The child is crippled. The child is unable to walk. The child is unable to talk. He is not able to meet the milestones of growth as is normal. And those are just things that we see early. Inasmuch as the damage occurs during childbirth, the signs and symptoms of cerebral palsy keep coming as the central nervous system keeps maturing. As the baby keeps growing, we start to see more and more and more manifestations of the injuries that had occurred to the brain. Some of these include crippleness, as we have mentioned. Some include other diseases coming in. For example, epilepsy and seizure diseases. We see children with impaired intelligence. We see children who are not able to control their bowel, for example, or they are not having bladder control. We see children who have frequent infection, meningitis. They have respiratory infections, pneumonias all the time. They have abdominal or tummy infections all the time. So such a child needs to be seeing a doctor all the time. All the time. Not that because the doctor is going to do anything about the cerebral palsy, but as a result of the cerebral palsy, the child is predisposed to so many other infections and conditions. We have several types of cerebral palsy. There are three major categories. One is spastic, which comprises the largest percentage. There is what we call dyskinetic, and we also have a type of cerebral palsy which is called ataxic. Cerebral palsy is bad as it is, regardless of what class of cerebral palsy you have. We have the severest form, which is the spastic type, and the spastic type is also classified into smaller details. This is important for us to know. One of the worst types is the quadriplegic spastic type. This means that all the limbs of the child are affected. There is no limb that is spared. And that can, in a layman's language, mean that the damage to the brain is so gross, meaning that the damage has crossed half of the brain. So this damage occurs to many parts of the brain. Initially, it is manifested as motor or movement functions. The child is not able to stand when they should stand. The child is not able to walk or to sit or to hold up their neck when they should. Those are the initial signs. But now, as the child progresses, we have said there are many other manifestations that keep coming. And the children with this kind of quadriplegic spastic type are classified as the worst form of cerebral palsy. They are worse because inasmuch as there are little interventions here and there that can be done for the other classes of cerebral palsy, there remains nothing to do for the quadriplegic spastic kind. Because inasmuch as their motor is affected, Their intelligence is affected. Most of the time they are also mute, they are dumb, they can also be blind, their intelligence is grossly affected, and this kind of children require a lot of care. You need to take so much care of them. How they eat. If they are alone, they cannot do anything for themselves. They can the much that they can do is just to pull themselves on the ground, to try to drag themselves. But they are also weak. Remember that their muscles are affected, and even that kind of movement requires muscle action. So they get tired, they get infections, they get sick very frequently. So the long and short of it, as far as cerebral palsy is concerned, is that there is no treatment. There is no injection, there is no medication, there is no way that has been proved to work to reverse a case of cerebral palsy. Now, we have the case of this young child called Paul Kipchirchir Cheruyot. Paul comes from Baringo County in Kabarnet. Paul was born and diagnosed with cerebral palsy, the spastic quadriplegic type of cerebral palsy, which we have mentioned